Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it. We're talking about right here on Coffee with Craig. So take a moment, please like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. As you can see, we are here at SHOT Show 2023, having a good time, talking to good folks. And lo and behold, guess who decided to come by? Mr. Petrolino. John Petrolino, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Craig. How are you today?
I am doing phenomenal. Now, tell the folks who you are. If they don't know who you are,
okay.
I'm shocked. But anyway, one of my favorite writers when it comes to Second Amendment issues.
Craig, I appreciate the compliments completely. And you know what? I feel humbled because I feel there's so many giants out there, and I'm just kind of like a little minnow. But I'm a freelance writer. I write primarily for Bearing Arms and Ammoland. That's where I put out most of my work. And of course, there's a couple other publications, Second Press and Armed Lifestyle, where my work will go. And I'm also an author of a book, Decoding Firearms, an easy-read guide on general gun safety and use. It's a 101 level book on firearms handling.
Now, when did you produce that? When did you write that book?
That book came out in 2020.
Okay.
So I started writing it actually 2019. I'd say from August until December of 2019 is when I worked on draft one. And I had a full first text draft. And then from there, I had to hone it and come up with about 115 illustrations. And so by the time of June, I think June 1st of 2020 was my official release date. So from August of 2019 to June of 2020 is when I did the project.
Okay. All right. What are the big stories? What are the things that you're seeing that are going on, that are taking place right now in the gun rights debate / discussion?
I mean, I'm living them right now. I'm from New Jersey, as you know, and occupied territory, so dealing with less than savory laws. So the what I like to call the fallout from the New York State Rifle Pistol Association case, where these governors and the legislators are, lashing out against the people who they swore that they were supposed to serve. So New York, of course, is one of them. New Jersey is another state that have passed laws that just virtually annihilate carry completely. So these states are almost worse off than they were prior to the decision if you had a permit to carry, and that was the big thing. So New Jersey, of course, there was about, 300 carry permits issued a year. New York's different because New York has the upstate area where people can actually used to be able to get carry permits. But now it doesn't matter if you have a permit or not. You can't carry within 100 feet of a light bulb or a mailbox.
300 in the entire state?
About 300 annually. At one time, I think there was like 1,500 total.
Right.
Trying to get those numbers has been very difficult too, because the state of New Jersey kept having to get sued for people to get the numbers. So as the years go on, things get a little fuzzy mathematically. But we're talking about less than 2,000 people, that aren't former police or security guards or things like that. The normal peasants, will say.
Are you doing a lot of writing about the courts and court cases?
Yes. So I'm constantly covering litigation, and I think there was just the legislative session just opened up now in Hawaii. So I'm sure we're going to see more litigation over there too. So your areas right now that are hot again are going to be New York, New Jersey, California, and you guys are. We'll see what happens, but I think you guys are going to have a bill that's similar to what we dealt with. Again, can't carry by light bulbs and mailboxes or whatever. I think it's coming. I don't know for sure.
Well, the bill they introduced last year, the only reason it didn't pass was because they put an urgency clause in it, which required 2/3 majority. So they're going to bring that back, and the authors already introduced a spot bill, and he's said exactly what's going to go in it. And that's Anthony Portantino, who is a known gun grabber there in California. And what gets me about this whole thing is they're literally, it's like the Supreme Court in their decision said, because they basically, the courts pretty much ignored Heller. They just said you like treated it like you're a redheaded stepchild. You may have a right to own a gun, but you don't have a right to buy one. You don't have a right to sell one. You don't have a right to ammunition. You don't have a right to have it anywhere outside of your home. And when it's in your home, we're going to tell you how you're going to have it.
Right. You can't look at it, smell it, touch it, taste it.
Exactly.
That's it.
But you have the right to bear it.
Sure.
Anyway, that having been said, so in the drafting of the opinion they literally said you can't do this stuff. These are the things you can't do. Boom, 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 boom. And then the legislatures, California, Jersey, New York, just went ahead and said, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And Hawaii, I just got a text message not too long ago. An onslaught of bills have been introduced. Somebody from the Hawaii Firearms Coalition, like 2 minutes ago, said, hey, here's some bills coming out. So they're looking to eviscerate everything that we know. And I think one of the things that they're going to do is a $100 tax on every firearm purchase. So that's going to be a VIG on top of already costly process and costly hardware. So
it's basically akin to a poll tax.
Right. So we're gonna tax people out so that the peasants again can't have the firearms. Well, the newsflash to all these governors and the legislators: the Supreme Court said that the villagers are allowed to have their pitchforks, and you're just gonna have to get over it.
Well, at a certain point, what I'm hoping we will eventually one day see is they will finally. The Supreme Court's got to do something, because they're basically thumbing their nose. They're saying, we don't have to do anything that you tell us. And really, honestly, keep in mind, these are people who swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And when the people who are charged with interpreting that and telling you what's constitutional and what's not, and you ignore them, I'm sorry, you ought to be removed from office.
Well, you just look at what had happened in post, and this is the analog that everybody brings up is post Brown versus Board of Ed, and that was the early 50s all the way up through to 1968 to get past the Fair Housing Act and all the civil rights bills. So I hope that we're not going to deal with that kind of a delta with time, because they made it clear, like you said, thou shalt not do this. Like, you cannot make all of Manhattan a sensitive place, but would they say, we're going to make all of Times Square and every sidewalk, or every place you don't see a cop, or whatever, every place you smell marijuana you can't carry a gun. Well, that's the whole island.
Well, what do you do at the same time? What do you do if you're driving through that area?
Sure.
What now? So in other words, I'm driving down the street. Oh, wow, I'm now in a neighborhood that's a sensitive area, or I'm driving past a group of more than 50 people. I'm in my car. Am I now, because I'm in close proximity to that group, am I now in violation of the law?
Right, and that's no different than like New Jersey, which is complicated, right, to put it lightly. One of the sensitive areas that they put was the airport. So if you have a permit to carry or not, like in the past, you, in theory, are able to carry by air, bring your firearm on an airplane, check it properly, and transport it. But there's attorneys that I know out of New Jersey who have for years, even prior to the New York decision, that said, we're just going to fly out of Philadelphia if I'm going to bring my firearm, even though this is a federally protected act. Now,
wasn't there an instance where a guy was doing just that, flying? He was flying. I think it was pretty sure it was New York. Was once again took his firearm he was going to check it, and because it was considered a sensitive place, he actually wound up, I don't know if he lost, I don't remember if he lost his firearm or if he got arrested, but he wound up having to go to court for possession of a firearm.
Sure, and there was one, and it might be the same case you're thinking of. I think it was out of Newark. I'm pretty sure it was a Jersey case, and the guy, his plane got delayed and canceled, his flight, so they were just routing through New Jersey. So now you're in New Jersey. He has his properly checked firearm, and it's like, well, now you have to go get your baggage from the baggage carousel, and the airliner is so gracious. They put you in a hotel, and because that's not a problem at all, that your travel plans are destroyed. Well, hold my beer. What happened was the guy goes back to check the firearm in at the airport, and there he got arrested because he was not within the reasonable deviation clause of the transportation of firearms in New Jersey. So that wasn't considered a reasonable deviation that his flight was canceled, and they took that firearm to the hotel where he also maybe allegedly is not allowed to have that firearm because that's not his home. And you get into the whole thing: is it a domicile? Is it this? Look, they're going to arrest you for having a firearm in New Jersey if you don't have the right paperwork or if you're not under the right exemption. And if you're under the exemption, they still might arrest you and make your life miserable anyhow.
That is great. That is crazy. Well, the good part is, like I said, is that you've got groups like the Firearms Policy Coalition that are filing lawsuits all across the country, right? And that's important. It's important. I will tell you, I totally give Brandon Combs credit over there because he saw this even before Bruin, and he made it a point to staff up and make sure he had litigators both on staff as well as contracted to be able to do this, and experts in their particular state. So it is a very, very good thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And FPC is supporting two cases that I know of right now in New Jersey. The Coons case, which is also with the Second Amendment Foundation, FPC, and not ANJRPC, CNJFO and NJ2AS. And then there's also the Cheeseman case, which is a so-called assault weapons case. Those are FPC cases. So they are out there doing the work.
Excellent. How can people follow the work that you are doing?
So you can find me, the best place, the clearinghouse is going to be thepenpatriot.com. You can find me on Facebook at The Pen Patriot, J Petrolino III on Instagram, Twitter, John Petrolino. I'm out there. I write, again, primarily for Bearing Arms and Ammoland, and of course, I'm always looking for news tips. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can email me at john@thepenpatriot.com. I'm always looking for stuff to write about. And Decoding Firearms is on Amazon or Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park. You can buy it off of their e-commerce store if you don't want to buy it from Amazon.
Excellent. John, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you for all that you do. And it's always fun. It's good knowing good people who are in the fight.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks. Well, hey, we're going to be back with more fun and more friends here at SHOT Show 2023. We'll see you again. Talk to you again real soon. That was a mouthful.